Ladies and gentlemen, may I present a brand new long-playing record. A brand new
Well, welcome to a very special show here on the radio where we will be talking to Mr. Sal Paradise and talking about his brand new album, which is called SalPal. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Sal Paradise.
Yeah!
How you doing, mate?
I'm alright, I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Kenny?
Very well, very well. This is I've had to listen to this album. It's a brilliant album. Has it been a long time in the making?
Yes, 10 months.
Wow.
I had an old folder of stuff which was strictly not in Sal Paradise Moroccan style. It was just kind of, well, all sorts of things from funk to ska to EDM, and I decided to try to make something of it, and the process kind of took over because with all the people that were helping me, and other tracks were created along the way because that's where I got the title, SalPal. And so, yeah, it's been burning away for a few years to do this. As it happens, only about 2 of the tracks from the original folder, which about 150 songs, remained. Oh. So, but that stuff got written along the way, and things got pulled in. And, you know, it took a while to take shape, but we like to, even though it's very eclectic, we like to think it hangs together.
So we just heard that first track, which was Get On With Life, and I see the lyrics are by William Shakespeare.
Yeah, well, they were so simplistic. I felt I'd throw in a little joke there. There's lots of na-nas and oohs in it, and the main thing is I just had it in my head to do a minute and a half opener, and thankfully Tanya helped me with that, Tanya Dower, and she just sang a few lines that she did remotely from Wales. And get on with life, and things will be all right, etc. And I don't know, I just had it in my head to have some sort of quick, sharp, short opener in a funk style, as it turned out.
Brilliant. So you've had quite a long and varied career in the music business, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. I started out with well, obviously my school bands and what have you, but then I got a break playing bass. I put an advert in the Melody Maker, and I ended up playing for Screaming Lord Sutch and touring with him. Very nice man. He committed suicide not that long ago, which was surprising and very, very, very sad. But anyway, yeah, and from there, Mungo Jerry asked me to join them. They saw us at some festival in Germany. I think Bonnie Tyler was on it. I can remember standing at the back of the stage with the drummer looking at her bottom, but there was a flipping great gorilla of a roadie there, so I don't know if it's her husband or whatever. So he had his eye on us. A couple of skinny little rakes that we were then. And yeah, so anyway, Ray came up to us after the gig, Ray Dorset, and asked us if we joined Mungo Jerry, which we did. And then after that, Ray... it was just when the punk thing was starting out, I played him a few tracks that I'd done in a new wave style, and he said, "What?" And I said, "Look, I want to leave and do my own thing." He said, "Well, I'll manage it for you," which he did for a while. And then, fortunately, unfortunately, he felt it was a bit too much for him. But by then, his booking agent, had taken up interest in the band, and he took over our management, which is great. You cannot have a better thing as a young, upcoming band than a booking agent as your manager. So we toured all over the place with them. And when that all finished, I went and did Sal Paradise, the Moroccan style. Went to North Africa and picked up on all the styles there, and brought back loads of drums and tapes and synthesized them all. And I was very lucky. I got a big record deal with Arista, and did my biggest success from them was with the first album was taken up as a soundtrack, and the movie became a hit. So it was a good combination of music and it was a flipping good film as well. So a German film. So from there, blah blah, and I've actually got a track in that style. There's one on SalPal. I couldn't leave it behind completely. So, yeah.
So the first track we got up is called Two Is One, and this is featuring the vocals of Django Majesty III. Can you tell us a bit about the track and who was on it?
Django Majesty III. I typed in one of those Facebook things. Which dub star are you? That was my answer. Django Majesty III. I used to go dancing when I was a teenager down at the Cambridge Ballroom on the North Circular Road. And although I used to buy Hollies and Beatles records, the sort of stuff I used to dance to at the weekend was reggae, blue beat, Desmond Dekker. So I have a deep love of ska, and this was one of the songs from the original folder that I had in the back of my mind for ages, and it took me ages to get it right. I hope I did it. Yeah, but it's in a ska style.
Just like two is one. I love your neighbor. We gonna do it till it just like two is one. I love your neighbor. The streets are getting smelly. There's nothing on the telly. There's nothing left to do. There's gotta be some fun around it. I know the situation. I'll do some meditation. That is the only way that you can get through to that son of a bitch. We gonna do it till it just like two is one. I love your neighbor. We gonna do it till it just like two is one. I love your neighbor. The streets are getting dirty. I feel a little flirty, but I can't find no girls. There's gotta be some fun around it. I know the situation. I'll do some meditation. That is the only way that you can get through to that son of a bitch. We gonna do it till it just like two is one. I love your neighbor. We gonna do it till it just like two is one. I love your neighbor.
Well, that was that's a wonderful track there. But two is one from Mr. Sal Paradise. So is music a part of your family? Were your parents into music?
Not at all. Not at all. It's not as far back as I know. Nobody, and I've got 4 kids and 2 grandchildren and counting. None of the kids have taken it up. And I'm waiting on the grandchildren, but no bites there either. I could give them loads of gear if they showed the remotest interest. I'm not going to give it. I did try to get my oldest son interested once, but I said to him, I gave him about 500 quid's worth of gear, and I said, "Well, where's the tapes you said you'd send me? Where's the results?" And just, "Oh, my mate borrowed it. I think it's in his attic under a big cushion." And I said, "Go to your mate, get the attic, get the stuff out, use it, or send it back." You know, that was my children's foray into music business.
Oh well, you can't. It's difficult.
You can lead a horse to water, but all that.
So how did you get the bug for music then? How was that
usual
school bands or
Beatles? I was brought up in that era, Beatles, the first time that youth had power and money and a say in things, it was just all so exciting. I was just taken along with the bug,
So this next track we've got is called Release Yourself. And this one's featuring our Tanya Dower and Pandora Ind.
No. It's featuring Pandora Ind
and Tanya on the back.
Tanya Dower on backing vocals.
So can you tell us a little bit about Pandora? How did you get together with
Pandora? We originally met Pandora when we were looking for a young couple, a teenage couple, to be in a video. They didn't have to do much except walk around looking miserable and hopefully gorgeous. And we had the whole video set up. It was quite a big affair. We had people. It was called Switch Me Off, and we had people flying in from all over, and we had the crew and everything. 3 days to go. We didn't have anybody. And then we were in a pub with me and the drummer, my partner in crime. And he said, "Oh, I never thought of Pandora." I said, "Where is she?" Well, we had this system by then, because when we were beginning to get desperate to find a young girl to be in the video. I ended up asking this barmaid, who was very attractive, but I didn't even know her. And Tim had a word in my hand. He said, "Look, you can't just go around asking young women if they want to be in a video." And I thought, "Oh, good point, Tim." And he said, "What we do now is a walk by, and we'll only look at girls whose parents he knew, because he was brought up in he brought up his kids in this town." So then it would all be above board and it wouldn't seem dodgy. So we did that. So he said, "Don't look too much. You've got 2 seconds to look at any one of them." And we'd be standing on the street, 2 old geezers fighting away. So, "Oh, God, look at the state of her. She's a bit scruffy. Well, I'm only showing you who I know," etc., etc. And on it went. And he said, "Okay, Pandora, 2-second walk by." Well, it took her 1 millimetre to look at Pandora. She was gorgeous, natural English beauty. And so she ended up in the video, did her utmost best. She did a good job. And then we booted out our singer, who was a very nice woman, but she had this pathological inability to turn up anywhere within 2 hours of the appointed time. She usually ended up going via Scotland. She couldn't get anywhere without with a sat-nav or a guide or a map. She was useless. So we had to regretfully let her go. And then Tim said, "What about Pandora?" And I thought, well, she's only 17. She's only ever sung in a church choir before. Didn't sound very promising. I mean, she looks the part, but, So anyway, we come down, and I threw her in at the deep end and said, "Look, can you sing the chorus on this new track, which you've played a few times, which is Prayer Mat?" And she opened her mouth, and I went, "Oh, my God, what have I found here?" That worked, and I spent the next couple of weeks just looking at her saying, "What am I going to do with you? We can't just have you as a backing singer." So I then we did about half a dozen videos and tracks together with her. And we got some of it on the BBC and videos of the week, and some nice things happened. She's gone to university now, so she sort of kind of wanted to take more of a background role. So we've been messing around with this track for quite a while, and I said, "Well, why don't we, as I'm doing a kind of eclectic record, why don't we put that on it?" And that's what we did.
There's times when I take just a little tip. Release yourself,
So that was Release Yourself. If you just tuned in, you're listening to a very special broadcast of the new brand new album by Sal Paradise called SalPal. That's another great track. I mean, these are all well produced. You've got your own record company, haven't you? And
Yes, yeah. Yes, we put out stuff. SW Zoo, by the way. If you wish to buy the CD, it's swzoo.com. Very easy to do. Short word. Get it up on the old computer and press buy. SW. I used to live in SW2, and a short walk round the offie would usually produce about 10 nutters that you had to contend with. So it was a bit of a zoo. So that's it, really, in a nutshell.
SW Zoo.
And as I was living there when I first set up the record company, that's the name it got.
So this album's going out. Presumably you're producing it all yourself, and you're marketing it and labelling it and selling it yourself, are you?
Yeah, that and the normal channels, iTunes and Amazon, what have you. I've done it with the help of Exile Potts, who you may know. He's an artist that I met from YouTube, Reverb Nation. His music is very sort of dark and industrial, some of it, abstract, I don't know what you call it these days. And his artwork, I looked at it and I thought, I just got this inkling I could ask him to do something else, to turn his hand. And it was, as he was already a fan of Sal Paradise Moroccan style music, I got in touch and I said, would you like to try some artwork for me? It's nothing to do with... and we exchanged a few ideas, like Malcolm McLaren's Duck Rock cover, and I just said I wanted to be very eclectic and very colourful and in your face, and I was right. He turned his hand to it fantastically. And then we became sort of a little bit closer, and I said, well, would you mind overseeing it for me? Because I'm doing all this by myself, and I've never done that before, without a producer. I even did the mastering myself. And it was great. He was a great guy to have on board because he wasn't a sort of an intrusive advisor, but you'd always know if he wasn't happy, and that's the best sort of bloke to work with, So he did all the artwork and all the overseeing. He put in a ton of work to make this happen, and I'm very grateful.
So you've obviously it's a lot harder work doing it yourself than when you had a big company behind you and a big record label behind you. Do you find that you get more enjoyment out of doing it yourself this way, instead of just passing it on to engineers and other people to as you did in the past?
I think it's a modern thing. I think you have to, and it's like learning new skills. I've spent the last 10 months learning mastering. I'm still learning, but the only problem is not having a huge backing. Is you don't have the reach, and if you have a bigger reach, you will reach more people and you'll get more opportunities. That's what record companies are for, if they're good ones.
So the next track we got on the album is called Dance With Me, and this one's featuring you with the vocals and Pandora Ind and XL Potts on backing vocals.
That's right. Yes. I just decided I wanted to do one in the Moroccan style, and I just got loads of drums. I sampled my own albums and got lots. I found some bargain basement CD of Moroccan of African drums. I just sort of mashed them all together, and I slowed it down slightly from Living in a Dreamboat, which was the biggest track from those days. I just wanted something a little bit more lazy feeling and a bit more high life. And the song just took care of itself after that.
Your number one station, Loop Radio.
dance with me.
That's Sal Paradise there from the brand new SalPal album, and a track called Dance With Me. So if you just tuned in, we're live here with Sal Paradise.
Hello, Loopers.
So you've been around a bit, you've been doing it for a while. Why are you still doing it?
I must be enjoying it, because I can't do something I don't enjoy. My sister said to me, why is so much of this album sound contemporary and mainstream? And I said, well, I just fancied it. I could never make a record look, oh, I want to sound like that person because they're successful. I'd be bored after half an hour, and it would kind of like, it would almost sort of laugh in the face of this lovely studio I built, you know. Just trying to do things for that reason. I have to enjoy it. So that's why I'm still doing it.
So it's not for the fame or the money or the glory or any of that stuff. It's just for the love of the music.
You give up wanting that sort of fame thing when
you get to a certain age.
I wouldn't really want that at the moment. With regards to the money, I don't do it for the money either. However, it is a bit of a challenge these days to eke some sort of living out of a very apathetic post-Napster generation, and I rise to the challenge, and so I do it for that reason. It's a bitch, and I want to outthwart it.
I want to conquer it. Yeah, it's a very different. I mean, it's a very different system of working nowadays, isn't it? Because you can send off WAV files to people all over the world, or MP3s, and put music together, put tracks together, and send it back and mix it, master it, and you don't even have to be in the same room anymore.
That's right. I mean, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. It's very easy to make music, but on the other hand, you know, everyone's doing it, so that there's a lot more people. And I get sent music all the time, and some of it's good, and some of it is just, you know, someone's just got a laptop, made a very substandard effort, put a nice bit of graphics on it, and called themselves an artist. I mean, fair enough. It's the availability is now there to do it. In the old days, you had to have a record deal or a lot of money. Having said that, there's also, I mean, did you know that something like 4 million tracks on Spotify have never been listened to?
Never been listened to?
Yeah.
Really? That's frightening, isn't it? Blimey.
Well, it's just, as I say, anybody could do it, which is good and bad. It's both. It's different. It's now. It's the way it is, you know.
Talking from a Loop Radio personal point of view, you know, we get, as I say, we get over 100 new tracks a week uploaded to us, and I would say 99.4% of those are just quality, brilliant tracks. You know, they're well produced, good musicians, good vocalists.
Yes, fantastic.
And it's, you know, it is. I say 98%, 99 point whatever percent good stuff. And there are people that just, as you say, just get a laptop, get a microphone, and want to make music. And I guess somebody will like it somewhere. I might not, but and other people I know might not. But I guess music is very
with every level, whether it's just a kid in the bedroom with a laptop and a mic, up to the biggest studios. There's good and bad in every level of that genre, or they're all, you know. There's quality and there's the rest, you know. And you don't have to have a great big studio, although it does help.
So the next song we've got features Timbale on drums. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yes, well, he's my main partner in crime and cohort. He lives down the road, and he's got his own drum company called Provenance, and he creates drums out of old artifacts, like, I don't know, the Ark Royal or a Rolls Royce 1920s V8 engine, really? He gets all these, you know, people to do them up on the lathes and that, and and then he sort of furbishes them with all these quality parts and bits and pieces. He does that as his side. I've known him. He played on the second Sal Paradise album on Arista in 1985. So I've known him nearly 30 years. And so he's a buddy. I came here by a strange sort of circuit, really. I'd lived abroad. I'd finished with all that. I split up for my second missus, and all the kids had gone off to uni or left home or whatever. And for the first time in years, I could I could go wherever I wanted. And I just said to him, look, let's make some tracks together. As he had a young family and was fairly busy, I said, I'll come and live near you. That was 3 years ago. So I just followed my nose.
So what's this song about, this one, I Know You're Alone?
It was one of the only two files, the other songs, Two Is One is the other one, I Know You're Alone. It's an 80s soul thing, Spandau Ballet, that sort of thing. I've always liked that style. And I just had this song lurking around for years and years. In fact, the vocals on it, the original ones, I did on some really cheap old mics. And so I just knocked it together. It's a late night track for driving home from somewhere.
That's Sal Paradise there, a track called I Know You're Alone. So are you the main lyricist on the album? Do you write all the lyrics yourself?
Yes, Pandora did a couple of bits on tracks that she sang on. Yeah, but I write all the lyrics, yeah, definitely.
And does that come easy to you? Do you find writing lyrics easy, or is it?
I don't sit down and grapple with them. I just have bits of paper or text edit open on the computer, and sometimes the sounds just suggest words, and as I write down the words they suggest, and try to make some sort of sense of it. Sometimes I'll have a definite thing I want to say as well. It's a mixture of all things. I mean, people say, how do you write song? Do you start with the drums? Do you start with? I start preferably with the chorus line. but not always. I mean, you've got a strong. I mean, I've written songs before when I was less experienced that were fantastic in every way, except they weren't very catchy, you know. And I think you've got to have a strong hook to start with, or if it's not a vocal hook or a melodic hook, it's got to be something in it. I prefer a nice, strong vocal line to start with. Yeah, so I come at the music from all angles, you know, from downloading bits off the internet to just sound designing. I've got quite a good sense of sound design. If I hear a sound in my head, I'll get it, whatever it takes, and grapple with it.
So the next song you've got up is called Stoned in the Corner of the new SalPal album. And we got some sound bites from Sam Jones.
Sound bites from Sam Jones, yeah. Well, originally I did him a jingle for Loop Radio, which I said, he had this thing about his working men's club show. And I said, could you do some sound bites of that, and I'll make you a jingle from them, which he did, and I kept a couple of them, and there's one at the beginning and one at the end, and it's about a bloke at a party who's moaning to his girlfriend that he doesn't want to be there, and Pandora's doing spoken vocals in that, just telling him, you know, oh, it's all right, shut up, cheer up, and all that, and it's an EDM riff. Very simple idea for the song, and that was it. That was one of those 5-minute affairs.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you can keep your whippets off the chairs, because other people have got to sit on them.
We came to this party and we don't know what to do. I'm stoned in the corner with you. I'm stoned in the corner with you. You wanna go outside, but I'm not sure that's what I wanna do. 'Cause I'm stoned in the corner with you. I'm stoned in the corner with you. Yes. Was it such a good idea coming to this place?
Oh, come on.
I'm feeling queasy and I don't feel brave.
It's not that bad.
I wish these people would get out of my
You're
face.
kind of funny.
Then I could live to see another day.
Liven up.
But there's this bloke, he's just give me one more pill
Oh,
now.
come on.
And I'm hoping it will save the day.
It's not that bad.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm stoned in the corner with you. I'm stoned in the corner with you.
It's not that bad.
I'm stoned in the corner with you. I'm stoned in the corner with you.
Liven up.
This party. Was it such a good idea?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Was it such a good idea?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Was it such a good idea coming to this place? Was it such a good idea?
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, there's hot pies behind the bar for sale from 67 pence.
You're listening to The Dark Side with me, Kenny Darkreine, here on loopradio.net and simultaneously on 440 South in Staten Island, New Jersey. If you just tuned in, you're listening to a very special broadcast here on Loop Radio of the new album from Mr. Sal Paradise, SalPal. And next up, we've got a track from our Tanya. Tanya features on this one. Put Chains on Me. I've heard this one. I think it's a different version to the one we've heard before.
You have indeed. Put Chains on Me. It was the first thing I did with Tanya. Obviously, I was friendly with Sam Jones on the internet, and he said, have a listen to my girlfriend, which I did, and then I got in touch with Tanya, and she remotely did the vocals for Put Chains on Me. And I wanted to do something with those vocals again. And I tried it on a funky track. I tried it on a dub track. I tried it a million different ways. And I was just about to give up. And I ended up putting it on a sort of live rock track. And that's how it is now. And so I was quite happy with that. I hope she likes it. I haven't heard back from her yet. Maybe she doesn't.
But she's got the sort of voice that can fit to anything. I did a track with her a while ago. I'd written this. Well, I hadn't written it. I'd put some loops together for an EDM sort of dance type of track. But a bit of a slow riff to it. And she wanted to do a cover of Stormy Weather.
I heard that. Yeah, classic. It was great.
And so I just dropped it into the mix, and it just fit. It was just one of those things. It just fit. I think you'll find a voice like Tanya's will fit into anything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's got a great range of voice, great voice.
It's got all the right EQs in it. You don't have to mess around with Tanya's voice too much. Well, I did have to mess around with it because it was a remote affair, and she wasn't used to sending stuff over the net. But that was nothing to do with her voice, I've said to her several times, I'd love to get you down here to my studio and bang out a few songs because, obviously, I'd love to.
Well, hopefully we'll hear some of those in the future. Meanwhile, This is Sal Paradise and Tanya Dower and Put Chains on Me. So that's a lovely Tanya Dower there, and the new version of Put Chains on Me, which we like really very much. Yeah. So when you're putting, do you have a stock company of people that you use to for musicians that you use on tracks, or do you find people new people all the time? How does it work?
Sometimes the idea I'm working on suggests somebody's voice to me or somebody's talents. For instance, I got Timbale to be on I Know You're Alone. I could just hear the drumming with that kind of lazy feel, like Would I Lie to You by Sam and Eddie. And I played a track to Tim, and he listened to it a few times, and then he just sort of kind of got that feel. And for other tracks, for instance, I just working on this new one for SalPal 2, and my old friend Ray Dorset came to mind of Mungo Jerry, and I wrote to him and asked him if he'd be on the second album, and he said yes, so he's going to be on that. So I thought, well, now he said yes, I might as well try and find a few more things for him to do, you know. So I've thought of a track for Tanya, actually, where Tanya and Ray could both be on it. So, and another fella, an old mate called Bill Cruz. Once again, he's already done some stuff for me on SalPal 2. So I've now got with Pandora and Tanya, myself and Ray and Bill. So it's a bigger palette now to because it was much bigger than the last one. I felt there's a bit too much of me on it, really, and I'd like to feature more and more voices as we go along. So yeah, it's like having a palette to work with, and with the beauties of communications and the internet, you know, you can do that now.
And are you tending to make videos for these as well, or is it just
in the first instance? Is an interesting point. We made a lot of videos for Pandora and about 2 for Sal Paradise in the last 3 years. And I think YouTube is one of the biggest giveaways going. You know, it's even worse than Spotify in that you just don't need to buy the record, you know. And I've spent hours and hours and hours making videos, and they've been very popular, but they just haven't led to it's a giveaway, basically. But what I thought I'd do for this record is I would make an advert. So use YouTube another way, which is what I've done. Have you seen it?
Right.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You haven't, right?
No,
it's an advert in the short run, and then when the album had been out a while, I'll then make videos on the most popular tracks. They're already kind of half done, some of them. But not bring it out, just give it away in the first instance, which is part of the culture today, I know. And there's an ongoing debate about it, you know. Some people do, some people don't. Some people say, Noel Gallagher, you know, always, obviously he's never shy to say what he thinks. I'm not spending all that bloody money and giving it away. And other people do. You know, some people just give away their albums for free, like. So
the next track we got up is one called Rolling Plains. What's this one about?
Oh, this one definitely happened during the recording process. I don't know why. Oh, that's right. Yes, I had some old funky house kind of vocals. I just dug them up. I had a bit of a crash here, and I was sort of gleaning back altogether a lot of my sounds. And actually, I'm glad it happened in a way, because I started kind of rediscovering sound. So I got this thing going, and then the first synth I put on it was one of these freebie things that I put out, and it suggested a kind of horses. It sort of went doon. It was just doing that on its own, the way the synth was set up, and that just took over. I forgot all about this. Those funky sounds are still in there somewhere, but they got forgotten, and I just wrote a song there and then based on that. So that happened from a synth, that song, and then I started writing the melody and the lyric, and I thought, they're pretty good. I'm going to carry on with this. And then a sort of big EDM comes in halfway through, and then I took a long time getting that one right, because it's a big production number with lots of things in it, and it suggests Americana. It's the singer is me, but I put it as Dean Orbis, because it was a cross between Dean Moriarty of Jack Kerouac fame and Roy Orbison. It's a sort of Wild West Americana feel to it. I hope, and I think Exile Pot's cover reflects this. It's the sort of artist who just likes to do things, in one fell swoop, boom. And I can see where he's coming from, but I did really kind of tax him to get this one right. He did in the end, but I was sending things back and forth and back and forth. God love him, he got it in the end, but I won't do that to him again.
You are listening to Kenny Darkreine.
That's the awesome Sal Paradise there and Rolling Plains. So this is quite a mixture of genres on this album, is it? Do you see yourself as being in one particular genre, or?
Well, obviously, I've got the original Sal Paradise Moroccan sound. Truth be told, that still sells the most because, as I say, it had the reach back in the day. But I haven't actually released an album for about 30 years. I put a few compilations together and stuck a label on them and put them on the internet. But to actually sit down and make a proper album, as I say, I undertook it starting beginning of last year, and yeah, it's eclectic for the reasons that I've explained to you. I just had a load of stuff hanging about. And two of my favourite albums are Sgt. Pepper and Duck Rock by Malcolm McLaren, and they're both completely eclectic. And I thought, well, in these days of compartmentalising music and that, I don't really care. I'll do something which amuses me, which was the eclecticism.
Yeah, I don't get half of the genres that there are out there nowadays, to be honest. There's so many.
No, you've got to keep up with them. But,
sub-genres.
Oh, crikey, yeah. Especially when you're submitting some music and they ask you what your music is. This has been described on various websites. Only ones are where there are downloads available as a indie and rock, but they've obviously only listened to maybe one or two tracks, They can't imagine that an album would be full of all different things on it. I don't think they are these days, are they? I don't know.
I tend, from what I'm not obviously not a music guru, but from what we tend to find that we get involved in is a lot of people doing EPs now, and which is 4-track, like a 4-track EP or something, which I thought died in the 70s. To be honest, but there you go.
Yeah, I was told by my mediator. The mediator is a person between the artist and iTunes and all that. They're the people who put it on the net for you and give it catalogue numbers and what have you. They told me I was putting out too many singles, which might have influenced my thing of putting out an album. They said people do like to buy a collection of things. I often heard people just like to cherry pick. I don't bloody know. As I say, I did it because I fancied it.
Well, going back, I'm talking, talking albums back in the days when I was involved in it, and I'm sure you came across the same thing. As it when you were putting an album out, there were probably 4 or 5 tracks that were just fillers. They weren't actual.
Absolutely, and I've tried not to do that on this one, Kenny. Me and Exile, we've finished songs completely, and they're bloody good sounding mixes, better than some of them on SalPal, and we've done the cover. And we've ended up just kicking them out. We might put them somewhere else, but we've been really painstaking to get this record right.
It's interesting that they're saying that people would rather download the whole album than download individual tracks, because I've always found that to be the opposite.
Just what they told me. That's all. They might have been talking out there. What's it? I don't know. As I say, I fancy doing it.
So next one we got is a track called Groovy Movie. What's this one about?
It's a twerk style. I was listening to some twerk music and I just thought I could do that. I kind of liked it. It was kind of funky and laid back, and I woke up in the middle of the night with this riff in my head that I'd already laid down, and I lived with my studio, and I just did the melody in one take, and it was just one of those moments, and another 5-minute affair.
So this is a twerky, quirky, groovy movie.
I don't know.
But that's it, baby. I don't care what you think. You know I reckon, baby. Somebody put you in my drink. I want somebody who can see things through my eyes, and who's never once surprised at all the strangeness that abide. I want somebody with a tear upon her chin, 'cause she just saw a groovy movie and it really got say, what you say, what you say, yeah. So please be silent, because I'm on another day, yeah. I want somebody who can see things through my eyes and who is never once surprised at all the strangers that abide. I want somebody with a tear upon her chin, cause she just saw a groovy movie and it really got within her. Because I want somebody who can see things through my eyes and who is never once surprised at all the strangers that abide. I want somebody with a tear upon her chin, cause she just saw a groovy movie and it really got within her.
What goes around comes around.
And that's a groovy movie there, the track by Sal Paradise off the brand new SalPal album, which you can download and buy from everywhere in the world, I think, is it, Sal?
Just about.
Available.
And a 28-page Exile Pots booklet will be with the CD available from swzoo.com. And it's beautiful.
So can they get it from Amazon and places like that?
They can, but they can't get the CD and the cover. Yes, of course they can get it from Amazon and iTunes and Google Play.
So where would you say that your musical influences come from? I mean, we talked about the Beatles a bit earlier on.
Oh, everything, man, everything on this record, or
in general. I mean, obviously, it's all feeding through onto this album, is it? So
yeah, I listen to everything from classical to folk to old music to new music. I'm not closed to anything.
Do you listen much to independent music that's around today?
I've only just got my Wi-Fi sorted out, and I will do that because you did ask me to do my favourite independent songs, and the people send me stuff, and you advertise stuff on loop, and I'm like, oh god, I'm going to lose the will to live trying to listen to this thing. Basically, I've been using a Wi-Fi based with the place that I live in. It comes with the place, but it's no good. So I've just got a PT line put in. So I will do.
So we've got a track coming out called Guardian Angel.
Guardian Angel.
What is
That's
that
me
about?
and Pandora. Can't remember what came first from that. That's an EDM beat. 128 BPM. Maybe I was drunk for a few days. I can't remember a bloody thing about it. But we've got a nice little chorus for Pan. And a couple of little verses, the world-weary verses by me. It's about someone who's alone, but they're not alone because they figure they've got someone watching over them, which is sometimes something that people experience. And I certainly have. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know the answer to everything, but it's an impression of that feeling. And so I got Pan to sing on it, and I wanted her to sound like someone pure and benevolent, a bit like Kate Bush singing that chorus in "Don't Give Up," that kind of thing. And when we did the video, we videoed a bit of it for the advert, and I kind of had a vision of her being a bit more sort of ethereal, surrounded in light and all that. But she just took it by the scruff of the neck by herself, and look at it, look at the advert. It's fantastic what she's done with it.
Your number one station, Loop Radio.
I'm talking to an empty room. I'm talking cause I feel so alone. I'm talking to an empty room cause I feel so alone. Feel so alone. Jamming on an empty stage. Jamming cause I feel so alone. Jamming on an empty stage cause I feel so alone. Feel so so warm. Groovy on an empty head. I feel so warm. Feel so warm.
Keep knocking until you like. Keep knocking and listening more than anything. Keep knocking until you like. I just wanna be guardian angel. Keep knocking until you like. Keep knocking and listening more than anything. Keep knocking until you like. I just wanna be guardian angel.
And if you was to ask why I care, I'd say I was jamming for the future. But I never make the future, and I knew it all along. I'm talking to an empty room. I'm talking 'cause I feel so warm.
That's a lovely Pandora Ind and Sal Paradise and a track called Guardian Angel, which is off the new SalPal album, which we're talking to my special guest tonight, Mr. Sal Paradise.
Hello.
So I know you're a very spiritual person. Does that feature a lot in your music? Does that? I mean, obviously it affects it in a certain way, but is it a big part of your music?
If it filters through, yeah, maybe. Lyrically, I've always found that talking about spiritual experiences is a bit. They don't translate very well. I don't tend to try to bore people. You have to go to these places. I stayed in, still do, stay in monasteries and things like that. And some very intelligent people have asked me what goes on in these places, and I explain it as best as I can. But I'm not a teacher of Dhamma, which is what they call it in Buddhism, the truth. I'm not a teacher, and I can see that the explanations go right over their heads. And one mate of mine, he does lights for us sometimes. He's a Mormon and he's interested in religion, obviously. And he came and visited me at one of the monasteries when I was staying there. And he got it, but you have to go there. You can't just say, oh, it's this and that happens.
No, I'm not.
Because they set up, I suppose they're unnatural conditions for you to live under. Like, you can't read, you can't watch telly, you can't do anything. And nothing to distract you, so you can get down to the nitty-gritty of what you're really about, It's a bit like spiritual boot camp in many ways. And it's highly effective if you're open to it.
What would you say being a spiritual person is?
Somebody who is aware of the arisings within them and the fallings. Stuff comes into your mind and your heart and your emotions, and you're able to see it at birth, not to react to it, not to get on that bus until it's finished with you. Just see it, check it out, make good of it if it's good. If it's bad, know it straight away. Like you see a nutter coming down the street, you wouldn't cross the road to be on his side, would you? The spiritual places, they teach to be aware of the uprisings within you and to check them out, to be boss of it in a way. Fire, it's like fire is a great servant but a bad master. You have to be quiet to be able to see all that stuff arising within you. Whatever it is, whether it's a thought about the gas bill or a sexual thought or what you're going to do when you leave, all this stuff this stuff arising all the time. They don't say don't do it. It's perfectly natural for the human psyche to have arisings and fallings all the time. That's what our life is. But it just gives you another perspective of it.
So the next track we've got is track called Hey Baby. What's this one about?
Hey baby, right? Well, just a bit of riffing. I played some very nice guitar. I've got this old Maverick guitar that I got off the internet, and it's really scrunchy. And I started playing some really dirty chords on it, funk style. And then I did a vocal on it, and Pan said, "You could do better than that." So I did that again. And then about halfway through, I banged in loads of sounds and choirs and strings, and it was it still wasn't quite happening. So I thought, I'll just put this drum and bass thing at the end. It's the same kind of speed. So I just put this drum and bass thing halfway through, and then just started. I always wanted to do an outro. So I did, like at the end of Tubular Bells when they say this person played that, this person played that. I've given you a big up on that. Loop Radio, Sam and Tanya, and a few other people that are on it. So that just suddenly switches halfway through to a drum and bass thing with me like the circus ringmaster saying goodbye. And that's what that is. It's a bit mental, that track.
It is, and thank you very much for the plug.
You're very welcome, sir.
This is Sal Paradise and Pandora End and Hey Baby. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the very special broadcast of the Sal Paradise brand new album, SalPal, and that was a track called Hey Baby. And we're back live with Mr. Paradise himself. So,
hello again.
Hello again. What does the future hold for Sal Paradise and his music?
I've no idea, mate. Well, I say I had no idea. SalPal 2.
SalPal, you see, you've already got it in the bag.
I've already started it, and I enjoyed doing this one. And as I say, I've had a partner, Exile Potts, helping me on this, and we've decided what worked with this one and what didn't, and we're going to try and make it a bit more easy to do the second one, both visually and musically. As I said, we're going to have some more voices in it, some more colours in the palette. So that's what's happening on that side. I'll be doing some live Sal Paradise music, Moroccan style. I'll be putting together a show for that. That's about it, really. I only have about 2 projects ahead at one time.
So, do you still do much gigging out? Do you playing out now?
Not at the moment. Haven't done for a while. It's all been videos and releases, but that's on the list.
So are you going to tour this album?
I doubt it.
As I used to say back in the day.
Tour this album, yeah. I'll take the CD for a walk around the shops, yeah. Show it the light of day.
I've got to say, it's a brilliant album. It really is. I mean, every track on it is just a cracker.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. That's what we were trying to do.
So we've got the last track here. It's gone really quickly, I'm afraid, this interview. But the last one we got is "Crazy for You."
"Crazy for You" was written right at the end because of the the fade out of "Hey Baby," go bye, and I thought, now what we need is a kind of encore song. We want something really silly. So not silly, but something a bit cheerful and throwaway. And so we did a disco song and got the girls singing oohs and ahs on the backing vocals. But the song came out rather well, I felt, melodically and chordal wise, and it sounded like the real deal. So although it's kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek, it ended up as something I was quite proud of as a chunk of music. And as the album is quite colourful and eclectic anyway, it was. And Exile said to me, I love it when that comes in, because I'm really sad at that bit at the end of "Hey Baby" where you go, well, that's about it. Let's wind up the show, So this one is just a straightforward disco thumper.
Nothing but blue.
Kenny Darkreine on Loop Radio.
That is a cracking end to an album, really is, isn't it, mate? It's just a great fun song, as you say.
Yeah, it just felt like it needed it.
Thanks for giving Loop Radio the chance to play your album. It's been
exclusive to Loop Radio. Exclusive.
Oh well, thank you. But it's brilliant. It's as I say, it's a fantastic album, and we're going to be playing it as much as possible.
Oh, smashing, mate, smashing.
And we wish you well with it, and we look forward to SalPal 2.
Yes. You'll be getting that one as well. And I'd like to say thanks to all the Loop Radio listeners who have voted for my previous stuff in your charts. That hasn't gone unnoticed. And good luck with all your projects as well.
Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for the awesome Mr. Sal Paradise.
stuff's going to take you into the past. We got stuff's going to take you into the future. We got stuff to say. Hit me, baby.